All right, got kind of a fun video for parents out there. If you've got a little one, I got a 5-year-old here. He just got his little first bow and arrow kit. You know, those like $5 things. But check it out. He cannot shoot with it very well. It just kind of like falls out. So I'm going to show you a simple DIY fix and get this working. All right, so my little one just turned 5 for his birthday. He got this cool bow and arrow set. It's got 3 orange arrows with little suction cup things on the end, and a very simple rudimentary, again, this is like a $5 thing, but super fun if he could work it right. This is the first time he's ever done what would be close to archery, so he had to learn really, where to put his hand, how to hold it, and I'm no pro, but simple stuff here. But I noticed that, when I was teaching him how to do this, check it out, it just kind of like falls off. Right, the arrow just kind of falls down off the rope. So if you look at the end of these arrows, they're not notched. So what I did was I notched it, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So if you've got a similar bow and arrow kit, I recommend notching the end of it as well, and I'll walk you through how I did that. But first, let's test the notched one. Here it is. So it came with a set of 3 arrows. I notched the first one for him just to make sure it worked before I did the other 2, and here it is. So you can see the cord of the rope kind of lives in that notched out part of the plastic on the end of the arrow. And let's see how this does for comparison with that rope not slipping basically off the end of the arrow. Hey, a little better, right? It wasn't a super great shot, but that to me is 80% of the battle, right? The other one is the left hand there and what to do with that from keeping the arrow from, moving to the left or to the right. Hey, there we go. So we know the theory holds. So how are we going to notch these without breaking them? All right, so let's go out to the workshop here. We've got, this is a super cheap plastic. These, like, again, a $5 kit. So you breathe on it and this plastic's going to bend and break. So I have some really sharp scissors here, and I'm just going to, without rotating it, I'm going to notch vertically, because that rope is vertical, right? So don't cut the top one and then rotate it. It might not be straight. So hold it in one position, do your cuts, and then take a needle nose pliers, and you'll bend that middle piece back. Make sure your cuts are wide enough for the rope to go into. You don't want it to actually be, creating tension, or a sharp piece of plastic actually cutting the rope. That would be terrible. So you kind of have to eyeball it. Remember, you can always start thin and widen out. You can't start thick or too wide of a notch and then make it thinner, right? Would be my advice for you. And then you can make sure there aren't any sharp pieces of plastic with a file, or I just ran my finger on it and it was fine. So a little better view here with the second one. So there's our top notch. And again, not rotating the arrow. We've got our bottom notch. So it should be nice and straight. Switch over to the needle nose pliers. And it should just pop right off if it's a small enough sliver that you cut out of there. If not, you'll have to wiggle it back and forth a few times, and the integrity of this plastic should break off at the end of the needle nose pliers. So, and then you can kind of press that plastic just like that to widen out a little bit, and that is how I'm notching out these super cheap but I guess effective arrows. And it works, baby. Hopefully this helped you out. Thanks.